social media is like Kundalini awakening. I hear people say, I really woke up and I'm really in the darkness. Well, you're seeing a lot of change, aren't you? But are you broken? So you're into a new reality. You're in the real world now. You're off the social media illness. Are you broken? Do you need therapy? Well, there is therapies you need. Now it's time to read Carl Newport's books, Deep Focus, and start tearing down what you can do in life. What's your goal? I got the name prospector. I think I am a prospector because while I'm on Earth, I see a lot of young people with a lot of potential. I don't care if you're Gen X, Gen Z, or any millennial or yuppie. Let's talk about potential. What about boomer? What potential have you gained? What have you gained? Are you going to listen to them say, just live on your pension? You can't. You can't. The economy's flipped up. So I started listening to this and older men. There's some older men that you don't know are working still in e-commerce and businesses. Traveling. We have a problem in Canada. You go from one place to another. So I started using AI, which is an old man's way, to gather up data. And I found out I can save money. I use PC Financial. I get points on that. So I like the clothes, so they fit. I look at the packaging sizes and how much gear I can carry on a travel journey doing e-commerce. So what did I spend my time doing? I didn't like the ivory tower medical system that isn't integrating. And I don't like labeling people, autism or anything when that might be the goal. So I look at a financial quality in that person instead of calling them an autistic savant or anything. I don't want to put those labels in there. I've worked in the Canadian military and the sergeant says, am I sick? Now, Sarge, let's quit putting you in the victim role. You're not sick. We're sick. You got a right to be mad. But dump it. Dump it. Dump that garbage right there. Maybe you'll get a little bit better. Find your true self and what, you're running reconnaissance missions. Hell, you got a lot of skills, Sarge. Chief Petty Officer now, I find. But you're mad. I'd be mad too. People need to understand that there's many forms of PTSD. The military PTSD is sometimes peacekeeping. It's brutal. So we call that a frustration trauma. All sorts of, the only thing we measure trauma by is big T, little t. Does it paralyze you? Whoa. I've had the big T's about 5 times. Big T, major trauma. And then things that weren't supporting my recovery. They weren't supporting my recovery to wellness. Throwing pills at the picture. And here's a study on True Hope, which was demonized. And Calgary had a lot of studies that this stuff works. True Hope and Power. Plus, it's a micronutrient. Dr. Abram Hoffer's research on molecular biology of putting niacin at high doses in there. Well, the ivory tower people say that doesn't work. So Abram Hoffer became not Abram, he became Abram Hoffer when he retired and he worked on research, sent it to Saskatchewan. Now, a medical doctor in his ivory tower would say, that's a lot of niacin. Yeah. But he's not in the ivory tower anymore. He's a psychiatrist that says, I think we should look at cures. So I'm listening to a podcast there, and it's an ivory tower thing. The bill is saying we got the research done on this stuff of 270 reviews. So what's happening is the integration of medicine is getting tainted. They passed the bill C-64. They're doing it again. It doesn't matter, liberal, right wing, anything. We have to open the boxes up on this study. There's a lot of elements in self-care, self-healing. Walking's an element, not throwing a pill at you. And knowing neuroplasticity of the brain is how your brain adapts. I play piano. I play guitar. I study economics. I never did that before. Because I had voices in my head from my parents, oh, you're not too smart. If I look at my cousin, maybe there is a bit of smartness. He's an astrophysicist professor. And then my brother said, I think your mother is very smart. She was always learning, never gave up. I listened to Steve Jobs. What was his mistake? Health. What's Bob Proctor talk about? You got to have the factors of three. Health with wealth to give you freedom. You can sit like a bug on a rock and not listen to that. So is The Secret a fake book? I'll listen to it again and listen to it again and listen to it again. I don't think it's fake, but it's not going to manifest automatically. What's going to manifest is you're developing skills, your neurology, your brain, your deep focus, not listening to people say you got Asperger's disease because you're a lone wolf, or you're, labeling people. Yeah, they started labeling me, oh, you're reclusive. Well, damn it, I'm not saying the technique that reclusives can make money. Maybe I can't be around a lot of people. I'm an empath. I can't take noise. I can't take traffic. That's my boundaries. Boundaries, but they're not biases. So the problem with the whole system is bias related. And the experiment is to use AI and try the boundaries of AI and see where it stops. Be aware of boundaries in your mental health. As a horseman, I kept on thinking, I started doing triple oxys, just light things, because I was in harness racing. I wasn't riding horses, so I transcended over to hunter jumper, which was something I was scared of, man. Well, you're going to do a little oxy here, da-da-da, da-da-da. And then you're going to work your way up. You fell off. Get up. You ever go through mud? You ever do endurance riding down really steep banks and going up gravel pits? Try that. On horseback, you're going to learn some things. The horse is going to fall back on you because you haven't positioned yourself. And you work with the horse. There's a dance. So what are you doing in life? Everything's a dance. So you look around and what's the dance out there? The dance of life. So right now, the housing market's high, and we look at Carney as a possible solution instead of saying, no, I'm a right winger. Yeah, but you might be an Eaton like me. Owning a house sounds like it, so it's not to get into that. And what's Mark Carney talking? Here I'm getting into economics because it's a part of your health. If you're not eating, like this junk, you're not getting anywhere. You gotta eat good nutrition. I can't live in a city that just is blind to this housing commodity market that's screwing us down. And I listened to a commodity broker up in Ottawa that really knows this isn't going anywhere. She's listening to Mark Carney. She wants to sell houses. That's the plan. She doesn't want people levering up and raising the market prices. So she's looking at a value system. Oh boy, I'm back to economics. Well, it's part of your life, a holistic plan. Your diet, you could be able to go out and enjoy food and go with your wife or your girlfriend. Go to these fine eateries and music festivals. Let's get that all going. But where's the foundation? Living in a room and putting up with it? You know, the problem is they said to me they're University of Toronto MBAs in arts. So I'm listening to them. We're discussing art. But they're saying we need psychotherapy. Do you? Are you broken? I'm hearing a lot of nuance of liberated art forms. Jason Pollock, you're talking about a lot of art. I like your concepts and things I'm learning. But I don't think you as a couple are broken as artists. And I said, you're right in the right opportunity of the new art movement. Because AI is taking out the commercial art. It's like music. AI probably can generate jingles, then we can work on real music. It's like everything. So we got division bells. And we can work in these areas of our life. The only brokenness is not seeing things with critical thinking. Not a psychoanalytical ideology that you keep on going back and working on yourself. Your time now is to critically think if you're off social media. Start writing with a pen. Start drawing up. And look at Jungian even. The synchronicity of things. And you'll buy one book and unify it with something else. Come up with a synopsis when you're writing and listening to books. Write down key points so you can summarize what you got out of that information. I use Blinkist. It's a good short reads, and they're in their business psychology. We can't have narcissistic abuse is damaging to sensitive people. You will have to take a long time to heal from it. But our clinical psychology hasn't really got it recognized. And business psychology does. So Blinkist talks about covert narcissism. It's everywhere. It's everywhere because we came into a social media system that busted people. Is Gen X and Gen Z's wrong? They're only wrong when they're living in these echo chambers of life. But the real world's out there. Now, the technology is the minimalization, taking out things that don't work and things that do work. Blogging, set up a blog post, do videos, journal with a notebook even. Because the cognitive function of notebook writing with a pen works. I was looking at the value of buying I buy these, they've run out. I get 5 for at that dollar store for $1.79. Yeah, $1.79 for about 5 of these, and sometimes I get more. They're gel pen. Throw it out if it doesn't work. Well, if you want to go and be more sustainable, then invest in a good writing tool with a gel pen cartridge. How just see the variances of each writing tool. And then I look on here and I'm going to tell you, was script writing a waste of time for us? Well, I saw that there was a problem. I couldn't read my own writing, so I started hybrid writing, slow writing with a pen. You can doodle and daddle and put bullet notes. They're great tools. But I use technology to journal too. I use voice recording. There's many variances to things. So I don't drink and play music drunk. I compose the music section down. Maybe I have a few beers, put the headphones on, put her in my can, go in the bar and have a few booze bars. I've got space and I'm thinking I'm drinking a few beers. And I'm writing with a pen. Most songwriters write with pens. Lyrics, formula. Maybe if it's not making sense, bring it back to AI. But don't just use AI. Get the ideas of what you want with the song lyric and what'll fit, or it's robotic. So it's a hybrid blend of everything there. Like, I'm going to talk to you about getting drunk and playing music. It doesn't work well. But getting drunk and writing, Farley Moe wrote a lot of books drunk. And dating drunk, well, it goes to the middle path there, girls and boys. The older you get, you can't handle the booze. And you date a woman your age or maybe in her 50s. And she says, I ain't going to loosen up and have some more wine. But when I'm looking at her and her head's on the table, hi, I can't raise my head, but I'm having a good time. See, there's a middle path, like the Buddha taught about. I do the string too tight, she snaps the string. I tie her too loose, she rattles like a rattle can. So there's always a middle way there. And everything in our society should be that way. So I love Green Party. I wanted to get off fossil fuels. But I look at the present moment, and I like what Carney said. We got to go from brown to green. Of course we do. We can't just negate the whole fossil fuel system and no fossil fuels. So is he a centralist? I think he is. But the first thing is to get housing that you friggin' can afford, maybe put into some value of what's getting available in Ontario and Quebec is gold. And that's expensive to buy. But why would you get a second mortgage once you get paid off? So if you look at the banking system, it's pretty well flushed on an attachment of fossil fuels. So that's the way we went. But we got gold. How do we transform to that? You got to have a foundation. Everything in your life has to be foundational. Like the rudiments of music. I went right back to Ski Blackmore, all the damn blues in the 1920s to come up to modern music. They're all foundations, there's all roots to it. But we threw out the baby at the dishwater of hip hop music. And it's just got no intervals and no rhythms. So we learn key signatures, we learn different elements. We can change the music with the texture of our tone, our modulation, how much drive we use on guitar amps. They made things a little bit smaller. This is an analog pedal that I used to have the big muff and stuff like this. This is called a Memory Max. Needs cleaning, it's dirty. It's analog. I can get quite a few variances on that. Switch on, off modulation, and these rates, delay, feedback, is three blends in a blender. It's not a lot of controls. Well, that works. And it's electroharmonic. They used to come up with, Hendrix used them. They're good pedal. And I'm just weighing out, do I throw out the baby with the bathwater? And anything I do. Why can't you use a pen and paper sometimes? Use your iPhone or your iPad. It's good to take notes. And I look at young people coming up with ideas. I buy them. You got some good ideas. I get them a 5-pack for about $1, $2. And they're those little notebooks. Where are they there? And you're always gonna, because I go out to bars and I talk to people. You got a serviette to write it down on? There it is. Place is a mess. Do you have a serviette to write it down on? But why not carry these in your wallet? A wallet, notepad. Let's see, get up here. I don't want to fall over. I'm getting older and I got a lot of junk around here. These, you can buy them in 5-packs. Kid says, I like that saying. I don't know if I can remember it, sir. Do you have in a barroom? Son, I'm teaching you how to drink responsibly. I'm not telling you how not to drink. There's a lot of business people meet in bars and restaurants. You know, you don't know what the guy's drinking beside you. I've talked to some top people. He's just having maybe a Caesar, a very low amount of vodka. And just fill it up more Caesar. That's a top musician. I've talked to a lot of artists and a lot of business people. They only have a bit. So the hair of the dog that bites you, I said. If you want to have a few beers, come on. Let's start with water. I'll write that down, right? I didn't know this. So what's changed him? He's seeing a value in maybe taking a trades job, becoming an electrician. It's a foundation. You know, and I'm talking about this. She wants to ride horses. She wants to have money. So she's 19. She bought a horse, but she's got to work at drywall. We got to build houses. So is that a foundation? Taking an untraditional job. She's doing it. You know, if you want anything in life, you might have to start from the notebook. Take ideas. Draw up comparisons. If you have problems in life, you're exploring your family, your relationship with your parents. And I noticed that. I get down to the crux. How was your relationship? They don't listen to us. Yeah, generational gaps there. Why is that? Because you're more liberal in your art and your form. You're exploring liberal art and form. Like you were talking about Pollack and the way the paint poured down the canvas, throwing paint on a canvas in the 1940s. But he said, I think the paint was an art form in the way it dripped. Now, if I question that, I'm a fool, because his insights is from his neo perspective as an art graduate. You know, avant-garde art, avant-garde music, built with glass. He was avant-garde. Are you crazy? I wonder how we define crazy when we do things like that are just not the norm. He's crazy, I guess. He's building a car that is running on hydrogen fuel that looks like a friggin' Lamborghini. It's about as fast, but they say, you're Polish crazy man. The last laugh is the man that keeps on going and just ignores the diagnosis of insanity. Hmm? The diagnosis of insanity. I was listening to the great billionaire, Sir Richard Branson, a Virgin, and he's worked on projects. He came out and he said, "You know something? I got dyslexia. I think I do in a way. I listen to things and I use Speechify, and I take notes and I'm listening to a lecture. I like audio." So he says it's a God-given gift. He's learning listening skills then. And then you can develop your text reading. But I'm better maybe listening to it, maybe watching it on a screen if I'm going to really develop my way out of dyslexia, to train the brain's patterning to get out of these things. Nothing's fixed. So I think there's an opportunity for every young person out there, if they really look at a wiser way of looking at Mark Carney's value system. You see a centralist? I think he's trying to blend in a democracy of what might work as an economist. Because what is a politician? He's a bureaucrat. But what's a politician with financial skills? What are you with the knowledge you have? As a musician, a painter, an artist, a coder, computer coder? What are your skills? That's your gold. So if I'm a businessman, I'm going to not go by clinical diagnostics. I'm going to go by looking for gold. So that's why I call myself the prospector. So I want people to get ahead in this world. So I'm going to move. Probably I'm going to take citizenship by descent in Australia, clear up the rubbish here, and then I used AI and asked a lot of questions. I felt guilty for what I was doing, but no, it was just an agreement. And they weren't helping me back to work. Then it's still not helping me with anything. Canceling Zoom calls. So what the frig's the Zoom call worth? So I don't like Toronto. It's too much traffic. It's an impact. I don't mind the bus. So I take this stuff out of here and I throw it on a Lynx bus. When I fell on the floor, I still have. I get down to the station there. I looked at it on my GPS. I'll have to get a taxi, I think. It's only 1.7 kilometers. Then I get down to the Barrie bus station. I'll take a bus from here to Northland, which I've taken, and I'll get to Ottawa. Yeah. So this is how you plan things. You use AI, you use a lot of apps and technology. And where am I going to live for that time? Well, they say it's not a very good system, but I don't know. I've heard to listen to them. I think it's an option of paying $1,700 for the month in a package. They'll give me enough time to work on my business. I'll be able to lever up and get some funds in there. And I'll be able to walk around Ottawa and get food. I got a washer and dryer in these units. And I look at this. This isn't efficient. It's noisy here. I got the phone on there, and it says when a siren, police siren comes, it's going off every 5 minutes, every hour. Because the protocol is, there's so much traffic here. And the fire trucks start up right at the light there. It's not a good place to live. So they say you owe money. Well, and then I asked AI, well, if I don't get any money out of the estate, you can open up your pension and pay it off and fly off. You'll always be there. Unlock it. They said, AI was answering problems. So is AI the problem? No. Children can learn with AI. If you have an AI girlfriend and you're tossing with an AI, that's pornography without the girl. It's just AI. So that's starting to get popular. But that's not the way I use AI. I don't need to have a AI fantasy about sex. I use it to figure out business skills, educate myself, and see how everything fits together because it's a large base data source. So she sits in there, and I'll say she's got the right thing. I used the wrong charger, and it's got a magnet, and it's always charged, and she can flip it around this way. But she doesn't like me. But I gave her something that I liked about her. That unit is better than that junk I'm buying for chargers. I buy these cords all the time. They burn out. Just have it on a case. That's a flat charge. She's got one. She can write on it. But what's she watching? Social media and looking at me and saying, "You're a grumpy old man." I'm a grumpy old man that's telling you your job's up because the AI just replaced your business. Now, I talked to another young woman. She's got a master's degree in business. She's an entrepreneur. And she did have graphic arts, but she knows that's gone, so she can go back to someone else. But unless I go in there next time, I guess says, I'll charge you. I'll build a real good website. Huh. Yeah. I can build a website with AI a lot cheaper. $40,000, he says. Because I'm good. No, it's because the housing economy is gathering around you and going, like the walls are closing in. So you're going to charge me more. So I'm sitting up here. I got AI working on and building websites. Did you know that? They design websites. They design pictures, everything. So what's a website when you're in the service sector of a holistic practitioner and advisor? Simple. Just basic AI, maybe a Mac Pro or a Mac, not a Mac Pro. I could use a Mac Mini and put a battery pack to it, or I can go get an iPad and carry it in my suitcase, which is very light, and have it on a train. But what one? Well, minis are pretty good if you outsource the megabytes. 500 plus megabytes would do me. I'm using that. That's a cloud-based system, 125 gigabytes fills up, but my cloud system heals it. So everything has a different value. I always thought you had to have a lot, maybe one trig or two trigs. Well, you can put on battery hard drive backups. What size? They'll plug in. So there's options, always options in our technology. So it's up to you in anything you do to weigh out and balance out the value. Is the processor speed going to be good enough for that? Well, I'm a musician, so I'm thinking of a iPad Pro that is using ProLogic. Carry keyboards with me as I'm traveling. Maybe 1 gigabyte, that's a lot more money. But if I get money out of what they've done to me, and government gives me so much, they had a budget of $1,200 for just basic tech. I'll see what they have up there. But I got some basic tech, and I got all files on all the corruption I've gone through. And, I'll go to the Supreme Court of Canada. I can unlock my pension in certain cases. But it's pretty hard to unlock. But in cases where there's a tribunal trying to get money out of me going on rent strike, a guy's got to make a choice. Eat or live. Nobody helping you. So I had to get some bags to pack my stuff in. So I made some choices. And then I started looking at this. He says, it's a scam. Is it? Well, let's see. I'll take you out and show you how it works. It's the Loblaws, which is a subsidiary of CIBC. Is it a scam? It's called PC account. I get points on that account. So I go to Joe Fresh and I got all clothing. I go in there and they look at the points. You want to use the points? Yeah. Oh, you need to put a little bit more money on it. Oh, okay. How much? Well, last time I got $40 and put $1.25 on top with the points. So I use the points every month, every time I spend something. So that account is good for me. It's a value. Joe Fresh, I can use it in gas stations. It's a digital account, and it goes on my iWatch. I have to buy an iWatch because I bought one from Bell and the damn thing busted. And it's locked. So I got an iPhone there, I'll just buy an iWatch and an SE. What are they? About 300, 400. And then an iPad, probably. But I would look at value. So I got a PA system. She's 50 watts. And then I got a mixer, but it needs a power supply. You see through it out. I'll mark it down. I'll get the price. At the end of the month when I'm going out, I'm putting it in a box and I'm carrying it. I'll put that there. Mark it down and say that's the cost it cost me. She was unscrupulous in throwing me out of the house. Did I learn anything from all that struggle? They said you only get $1,500. You don't get we're offering you $3,000 to get out of the house. So I go in there, $1,500. That's all you get until you're out for another month. Okay. But the $1,500 covered a flight to Vancouver Island. Didn't have much money on me. I had $700 coming in, $775 on Canada pension because I'm victim of armed robbery. So I'm out there and I'm wandering around. I started playing. I wondered, well, I don't have enough money to keep staying at the Wyman. No, you don't, sir. So I'm sitting on a park bench. She says, buddy, you can't sit out here. There's criminals everywhere here. They're all drug addicts. We get into the shelter there. So I got in the shelter and this in Duncan. Was it bad? Well, I was sleeping on the floor for the first day. I got in a room there and we had an air conditioner. We were getting along with each other. He was all drunk there and I really didn't care for him. He wasn't sober. He should have been segregated. But the other guys were interesting to talk to. They're men that have fallen through the cracks of the system. So the conversation got to this, reading. CP rail conductor reads a lot of friggin' books. And this was an interesting discussion. We sat down. He said, I've read the Civil War. What do you think it is about? Oh, the war of racists, freeing the slaves. It's the Banker's War, Greg. I read that book going CP rail from coast to coast because I got lots of time to read, and I reread it. It's the Banker's War. So if the banks have no value, what the hell's going on? So he's putting things right. McCartney is on the Green Party. I was, but right now I'm liberal because I have no choice in the matter. If you keep this market going, everybody will go under. So I'm thinking about everybody here. What sort of critical thinking are you using? Critical thinking is a part of Jungian synchronicity, synapses of what you've read or learned and questioned. Now, you can't question anything on a social media site when there's a bunch of trolls and everything on there. But you can question your own life. And I questioned her. I was going to write a reply that you're going to buy into commodity market housing. Well, that's your enemy because it won't work. You got to get off of that. So some things are freedom. Lots of free market, and it's killing everybody else. Yeah, under civil laws, and civil, it's got to be proven in a court of law and weighed out. It's not a criminal law. You can do it. And but when you take a case to the Supreme Court of Canada, work with maybe Carleton or some university and show what you got in the books, you'll be able to case. And if you haven't got much money, you can get funds from it for settlement.org. If you go to the lawyer and says, I want so much for this, well, I haven't got it, but I got it filled up from these postgrad students staying on. See how that works? And using AI and coming up with points and keeping on my my smartphone. I've got Evernote. I dictate on Evernote and then I let AI formulate the note. But I add AI findings on Evernote to store them. And they come up with documents and stuff. So it's a retrieval system that's giving me freedom to get out of this. So I'm talking about empowerment, kids. Not like her, nothing I can do. Well, you're not looking at the gold. You're not kids, you're adults. And you're the new generation. But if you live on the echo box, you're not going to get anywhere. And you're going to say, Daddy always did it this way. Well, my daddy did a lot of things. He told me I could be awfully stupid. Because he thought that was building me up. He thought a form of reverse psychology made me better. No, it left me sabotaging everything I did. Didn't work. That experiment wasn't good, Dad. I love you. I love your last words after I graduated in horsemanship. I never forgot that, Dad. You said, keep your hands on the reins light. Soft hands, son. Talk gently to horses. So every question, wrote that in every book he read. And I go to a workshop, I get an autograph. Yeah, and I watched you. You wrote it in the back. You got soft hands. You don't talk much. You got the quality of a horseman. So I need a musician that's teaching me, that's professional, to learn the piano, to play bass. But he says, I think you can do any type of instrument if you hunker down and do it. And I was just wondering on my endurance on the piano, because your cognitive function is completely wearing out. So I'm wondering why I'm wearing out. I don't know. It's the food. I can't eat it. So I'm going to pack up and go. They'll have to clean the shit up. Nobody's helping me at anything. I have no family. They've abandoned me to make money because they never worked. And their brother was giving them money. So I drink my coffee black, honey. And I'm no sugar daddy, and I don't buy you anything. You come to me for advice, you come to me, and I'll do a sliding scale advice, but I'm not a pervert. I had a girl come in there, and she wanted to start a cosmetic company. When you're young, that is a possibility. Well, I'm going to tell you, as an advisor, I had them coming to me in California. They're a cosmetic company that says, join our team. I don't jump in the sinking boat. I just looked your portfolio. You're all over the place. So, do you want to get into cosmetics? The cosmetic industry is not always working correctly, so you need a tight ship. Maybe starting at something like waitressing and educating yourself and getting an education, part-time job. Instead of going out on TikTok and saying, I'm 27, I'll have sex with you if you buy my cosmetic business. Sir, but I'm awfully ashamed of saying it. You shouldn't say it at all. So I just delete those social media apps because there's girls that are hungry, because I see girls that are coming out and they got a tattoo on their neck. I said, what's this? It's my life map. What's your goal? Well, she talks about her goal, but where's the start point? Where do you begin? Where do you begin? I see a lot of university students going to university, get MBAs, and they're burnt out. They can't work within the system. She's 27. She's sitting on that's where you meet them, to the wayward lost MBAs sitting in Starbucks, trying to figure out, maybe I should take a degree in social work. But you got an MBA in education, but the institutionalized system you can't take. Because I'm seeing and I'm listening to you that you're a sensitive person and you can't take it. And a lot of younger people are in this world with a lot of more nuanced sensitivity. You can't take that system. So you're going to throw that out. 5 years at the University of Calgary for that. But then you're talking to me what you like. So let's write this down. You're talking about you like yoga. You like walking and hiking. Well, you need a multi-income stream education that you can probably do online. How many women have done this? Well, you look in Australia, you'll see them. She was a fitness coach, Holly Smith. Same age, same friggin' age. She's a fitness coach. COVID's on. What'd she do? My gyms are closed down. Does that stop her? No, she's got a Mac computer. She starts doing exercises online. She makes Fitbits. Yeah, she makes Fitbits. So I said, where the hell did you learn to fitness like this? Look at my dad. He's a fitness instructor. Your dad's got one hell of it. Zeke, he's older than you, Gregory. Oh. So I'm listening. Holly, you went on there. You built a lot of money up because you knew Tommy Roberts, when things are tough, you didn't go, ah! You said, I got a computer. And you built up millions. You built an empire. What do you do now? Got a nice condominium up in Brisbane, mine. Sits up there with her laptop, making money. Yeah. And she transformed. She said, well, Queensland's offering. She got a degree in life coaching. So she's coaching entrepreneurs in Australia because the economy needs entrepreneurs. And you are important to work for yourself, make money. If you're an artist, could you teach art? Could you use different forms? If I've seen young men change from platforms, a photographer, he doesn't find he's getting any value with Instagram. There's so many photos on there. So what's he use? He goes and uses another platform. There's all sorts of new platforms coming out. If I want to do short movies, go get and I need cinematography. Those darn a good quality mirrorless camera will do cinematography very well. You can do short films, put them on, Vimeo. It's a short film platform, very creative, very liberal in its art form, and it's conveying messages that people need to hear. Because words aren't going anywhere anymore, are they? But short films are. So you can't say anything, you can't protest, you can't do anything. But you got art talent, you got skills. You want everybody to look at a perspective. This is your world. I'm just a baton guy. I'm passing you the baton to take over for what I learned. This is your world. Is my life worth anything? Well, my life's going to be good if I live past 100. But how am I going to do it? I got to eat better food. I can't live around noise and creative things. So I got to think of myself. So you see some women going on the road and living in caravans, but BC's getting to the point they don't allow them, motor homes to live in. They want you to, but where are you going to stay? Well, you got to make enough money to get a motel room or hotel. And I'm looking at the costs. If I get a travel, I'm going to clear up this credit score and maybe get some form of credit card that I can have enough leverage to rent a car to get around. There's limits. They ruin my credit score. This place is ruining my credit score. Doesn't have to be ruined. Just get a credit card, they'll do it. And I can build it gradually. Alberta didn't get into this lockdown, no credit score to rent houses. I noticed that. They, if you got the money to pay down kids, you can go out there. But they don't have gold here. They have, they got a good economy. How long is it going to last if we cut off the? Do you know anything about when 1867 happened? Confederation of Canada. Well, the government had equalization payments. Think about it. Equalization payments went out to each province to give you so much and so much and so much. Well, the eastern provinces are poor. It's all going out there for the oil fields. Can you heat oil? So he's saying something sensible. A transition. How many cars do you have? They have 2 trucks. Maybe they could downsize to 1. I don't have a car. I got no credit score. I can't buy a car. And if I bought a car, it'd be something that's going to be energy efficient and comfortable. I might buy a motorcycle. But right now, I look at the taxation of getting out of Canada. Just live on the road. Take the bus. It's all right. Take the train. You can go comfort style. Build up. I can take a prestige class. It's $10,000 to go up to Vancouver. So I have to come back from Ottawa to Union Station, Toronto. And then I take off from there. And I can have all this stuff shipped out by air if I have enough money coming in. Because I know where I want to go now. I came to too many crossroads. I've been a rock and roll musician. I've been a horseman. But I started really the variants of, well, I want to learn about newer ways of healing horses, but it's heal myself and heal others. And how yoga and all these things fit together. Not the ivory tower healthcare, the integration that could work for everything. Neuroplastic books like Change Your Mind, Change Your Brain. Not throwing and saying it's a chemical reaction. Present moment is a chemical reaction because your mind is working that way, but we can redirect it. So, do you understand me? I hope so. I gotta have a shower and go out and get a roll of toilet paper while I'm living in nowhere land. It's embarrassing. I'm running out of everything here. In the stream, I didn't know I didn't end it. Take care. Good day.